Hey guys, it's Marissa Harvey, the systemization coach. So today I wanted to give you a quick tutorial on ConvertKit and how you can set up your tags, your email sequence, and put together a visual automation to automatically kick off that email sequence. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, great. So now you see the home page of ConvertKit. So this is my home page of ConvertKit. If you guys are familiar with it, you kind of know how this dashboard works. It gives you, your subscribers, your open rate, your click rate, and how many emails you actually have sent out with ConvertKit. So let's get into it. Let's go to the Grow tab. You want to go to subscribers. Once it loads, as you can see, I have a bunch of tags. So I like to make sure I can segment out my audience. So I segment out by, whatever lead magnet or event or product or service that they purchased. So we're going to create a tag. So I'm going to just do a generic tag for this training purposes. I'm just going to call it test. So I just saved it. Now, if I were to go back over to the tags, I see the new tag that I just created, test is there, 0 subscribers, which is what I would expect because, I just created this tag. So that's part 1. So we've created our tag. Now what we want to do is we want to create an email sequence. So under the Send tab, you're going to select Sequences. And we're going to add a new sequence. And I'm just going to call it sequence. Create sequence. So now this populates. If I were to have any email templates loaded into ConvertKit, it would give me the option to choose an email template right now, but I don't have any. I just usually use this and design it as however I want that particular email to be done. So you want to make sure you go in, change your subject line, make sure it's something catchy that people will want to open. So just think about your email system and the emails that you get, what will entice you to open it. So this is going to be my first email in the email sequence. And usually this is either a confirmation of a download of a lead magnet that they've selected, or a confirmation, registration confirmation for a webinar or a summit. So what this does right here is dictates the timing of when this email gets sent out. So I don't want that to wait one day. I want it to go immediately after they have signed up for whatever service or product that they have. You would go in, whatever your email is going to look like, you write it up, draft it up, make sure, spell check, all that good stuff, make sure it's working. You have the option to do a preview, so you can preview it in a browser, you can preview it in the email, but just get a feel for how that email will look in somebody else's inbox, on their phone, on their tablet, or on their computer when they open it. So that's always a good thing to just check. Once you're good with what the email looks like, you want to make sure you publish it. That's the big thing. Make sure you publish it, because in ConvertKit, it will save. It will continually save. It's an auto-save function in ConvertKit, which is great. But if you don't hit publish, then it's not live. So I'm going to publish this test email. And as you know, for most email sequences, there's, it can be from, 1 to 7 emails. I think I have an email sequence that might have 7 emails in it, or it can be 3 to 5. But you want to make sure it's spaced out at the appropriate time that you want to do. I do a lot of 1 day plus 2 day plus 2 day plus 1 day, just depending on whatever that email sequence is. So that's something you want to get a comfort with. But we've already created that first email. So I'm going to add an email because I want to create that second email. So I'm just going to name the subject for this one, test number 2. So for the timing, This is going to be based after the previous email was sent. So whether you want it to be 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, whatever that cadence is, that's what you will want to select. If you only want it to go out certain days of the week, you can select that as well. I typically don't care about the day of the week, so I always keep all days checked because I just want it to go follow that cadence that I've set up. So for this instance, I'm going to say, let's just send this 1 day after the last email was sent out. And I'm okay with that timing. So that's there. I'm going to go through like I did with the first email, write it up, draft it up, check to see what it looks like in the browser, what it would look like in your email system. Just make sure everything is good with that email. And even if you do publish it, you can unpublish it and make changes afterwards. But I am slight perfectionist. So I try to make sure the first go round it's as good as it can get without having to make any tweaks once I've published it. So let's just say, hey, yes, this is done. So I've published number 2. So let's go to the third email in the sequence. So I'll just do 3 emails in this sequence just for training sakes. But we're going to go ahead and add an email. This subject line, and I'm sure you guessed it, yes, test number 3. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change this to 2 days out. So I don't know about you, but I don't like to get inundated with emails from anybody. So me too, because I usually make sure I'm copied in, or I set myself up to receive the emails like anybody else would. And that's just something that I personally do just because I am that perfectionist still. I try to, but that part of me is like, I want to see what it actually, feels like live. I want to see it from the customer's angle. So I always make sure that I get copies of the email or whatever sequences that I'm sending out. So we've got this third email. I've done the checks. Everything's good. It is going out 2 days after the previous email went out. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this one. So right now we have created our test sequence. So 3 emails that are sent out over the course of 3 days. You get one immediately, one 1 day after that email, and then the next one will go 2 days out after that one. So we've created our tag, we've created our email sequence. So now we are going to automate. So what we're going to do is set up a visual automation. So we are just going to create this. And the reason why we want to create this is automation. That means once it's set, it's done. I don't need to do anything with it because the system will take care of that. So I hit, create an automation. So I'm going to create one. There are templates out there. So if you get stuck and you don't necessarily know how you want to set it up, but I'll give you a word of warning. Some of these templates are very beefy. So if you're just starting, you can go out there and browse them, but I wouldn't get too lost in the sauce because, ConvertKit is powerful. You can do a lot of things, and those examples are in these templates. So you want to make sure you don't overwhelm yourself by looking at these templates. But we're just going to create an automation because I know exactly what I want to happen. So you have options. Right now, I'm not going to talk about the form or the custom field or the purchase. I'm just going to talk about the tag because that's the process we just created. We just created a test tag. So when someone is added to the tag test, and it's usually going to be the last one on there, I want to add an event. So I have the option to add an event. I want this to come after. So the action that I want to happen after somebody has been tagged with test, I want to add that subscriber to an email sequence. We just created our email sequence. So you'll see the test sequences down there. So I selected the test sequence, add action. So now you can see once somebody is tagged with the test tag, or added to the test tag, I should say, the system knows I'm going to go ahead and start this email sequence. Now, somebody can go through more than one sequence. So let's say, for example, for my newsletter, everybody, no matter what tag you get, will go through that sequence because I want everybody to get the benefits of my biweekly newsletter. So I have that set as one sequence, but if you purchase something, if you purchase one of the webinars or you register for one of my webinars, you'll go through a webinar sequence in addition to my newsletter sequence. And that way you don't have to worry about what's going on. Now, somebody could get 2 emails from you in a day, but those emails are going to say 2 totally different things. One is my newsletter is very much nurturing and educational. And this test sequence is related to that specific product or service that they have purchased or opted into. So we want to make sure that that's clear. You can have somebody go through more than one sequence at a time. So we've just created this sequence for the test. So somebody's tagged with test or added to the test tag, and then it's going to kick off this test sequence. Now, similar with the email, you want to make sure you make this live because you can do it. You know, it's saved, but it's not live because we haven't clicked this live button. So once we click on this live, it will say, hey, do you want me to turn on this automation? And which is good because if you're adding a tag after the fact, which I don't recommend, I always recommend during your process of setting up whatever lead magnet or service or something, you have that tag created before you start promoting it. That way you don't have to come back in and kind of, start it, delayed or whatever. But it's going to say, hey, we're going to turn it on. And if there were people that have already been tagged with this, it will kick it off as of right now. So I'm going to turn it on. It's live. We have our green button. So they are tagged with the test. They're added with the test tag. They get this, they're getting added to this email sequence. So you can click on that and you can see the actual email sequence that they will be getting. You can change more settings and that stuff that you want to. I'm not going to review that in this training. I just wanted to show you how to set up, create your tag in ConvertKit, create your email sequence in ConvertKit, and then putting that visual automation together to sync that test tag to the test email sequence automatically, so you don't have to worry about it. And even, I'll say in your test number 1, if you had a lead magnet that you wanted to deliver to somebody in that first email, you have the option to send a file in this one. So if you hit on this plus, you can insert a file. I'm not going to insert a file now to that one, but that option is there. So you can automatically deliver your digital file to someone. So that's it for today. So we went through, we created our tag, we created our email sequence, and now we have our visual automation. So now we're good to go. Do that with all of your email sequences. Do that with all of your products or services that you have to offer. Once you've tagged somebody, you want to make sure you recognize them and let them know that thank you for this purchase. And continue to nurture that person. They are your client now, so you want to make sure you're nurturing them and you're setting them up for success. So that is and I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So that is my tutorial for ConvertKit and your tag, email sequence, and visual automation set up. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments, and I definitely will respond and help you out as much as I can. But I just wanted to get you guys a quick tutorial on that so you would have that information in hand. And you have it in a video training. So the purpose of that was you can see me actually walk through that with you. So I hope you guys have a great one and stay tuned for the next couple trainings that